All right, so we have a lot to cover today about the next administration and how you can make sure you're going to maximize your benefits over the next year, couple of years, 4 years. This is also a live Q&A. If you have any questions, make sure you type them in the chat there. But I'm going to go through the list here and talk about cuts and tariffs and whether you should file early. What about Medicaid? What about SSI and all the rest of it? If you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third business Social Security office in the country. And in my kind of semi-retirement here, I'm making sure y'all get everything you're entitled to, everything you earn from Social Security, retirement, disability, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, and all of it. And to make sure, as best as I can do, to make sure Social Security is here for you in the future. And there are no cuts and reduction of benefits and all the rest of it. So that's my second mission. Okay, let's get into this. President-elect Trump has said several times in debates and recent interview on Meet the Press that he's not going to cut. So what people get is what they're going to get, and that he's not going to raise the retirement age even by one day. So, okay, great. No cuts during his administration, and he's not going to raise the retirement age. There's a lot of people in the Republican Party that want to do both of those, and hopefully he is there to stop them. But the issue is the inevitable cuts are not planned for this next 4 years. We've known about this for a few decades as of right now, 2034, that they're going to be 21% cuts. Why? Is because the trust fund is going to run out in 2034, and the trust fund essentially covers that 21% gap. Last year, they took out $70 billion from the trust fund to pay Social Security checks. This year, probably more, 70, 80, $90 billion. We don't know what the number is. By 2034, there's not going to be that extra cash reserve there to pay out funds. So whatever comes in the door goes out. And unfortunately, that's going to be a 21% cut. If President Biden signs this new Social Security Fairness Act, it might be a little bit more, 22, 23%. We don't have the numbers on that one yet, but it's definitely going to be about 6 months earlier if he goes ahead and signs that bill. If President-elect Trump gets the things he's talking about on the campaign trail, then the cuts are going to happen sooner in 2031, and they're going to be deeper, 33%. And it's not going to happen during the next 4 years during his administration. So he can say that, okay, I'm not going to cut anything. I'm not going to increase the retirement age, whatever the case may be. But that's fine. But we need to make sure those cuts don't happen. So we need action to make sure, the trust fund is replenished either through, unfortunately, cuts in the future or raising the retirement age, which I disagree with both of them. There's another option, raising the FICA cap. I've talked about that several times. I don't want to get too much into that, but I've got tons of videos about raising the FICA cap and what that means, and just raising it above for people making over $176,000. So the future cuts are going to happen unless the next year or two something is done, because we have an opportunity, a window over the next couple of years to fix Social Security, replenish the trust fund, bring in more FICA tax so that it covers the outgoing. One of the things, I put, people say, okay, where's your references for that 33% cut? And I do have a reference here. And let me pull out this little graphic so you can see it a little bit better. I have this in the description. This is by the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, and then it looks at the Trump campaign promises in terms of the tariffs, mass deportation, no taxes on Social Security. No taxes on Social Security. Beautiful, awesome. We like that. I believe it never should have taxed Social Security, but that's been around since the 1980s. But if those things are in fact passed, then that is going to suck up the Social Security Trust Fund sooner and more. So that's where you get the 33%, and then it's going to be deplenished 3 years earlier. So I have this in the description, that report, and they go through all the numbers. And so if you're a number type of person, then definitely have fun there, and it'll tell you exactly how they get that 2 years reduction of the trust fund and a sooner tax cut. So definitely check out that. But what are we talking about? Mass deportations. Um, there are people that are working in this country illegally. They came over the border or they came over here on a student visa and they just decided to stay and they got a social security number legally, but they are not supposed to use it anymore. Or they got it illegally. But there's a lot of people that pay into Social Security, and there's estimates about $30 billion pay into Social Security alone. So if there's going to be mass deportations, that $30 billion is not going to be paid into Social Security every year. So that's another reason why we're going to have a decrease sooner and more. Then there's tariffs. He's talking about putting tariffs on China or Mexico or Canada, whatever the case may be. It might just be for strategic purposes, negotiation purposes. We don't know. But if those tariffs do happen, that increases the price for everybody. And because of that, that's how the COLAs are adjusted, the cost of living adjustments, the allowance. Those are how those are adjusted. So if prices of things go up, then there's going to have to be more of a COLA given out every year to cover the increase in prices. And where does that COLA money come from? Guess what? It comes from FICA taxes and the trust fund. So that's another reason why it's depleted sooner. All right. So I get this question with all things going on or possibly going on over the next year, 2 years, 4 years. People ask, what do I do? What do I do? Ed, what do I do? I'm about to come up with on my decision to file at 62 or 65 or 67 or 70 years old. Should I go ahead and take my retirement benefits now? I was going to wait until I was 67 or 70, but given the fact that there's going to be cuts and there's so much volatility in Social Security, whether it's going to be supported or privatized, I did do a video a little while ago on there's going to be a new bill that's introduced by Senator Bill Cassidy, a senator from Louisiana, and he is going to introduce a bill to privatize Social Security, essentially give $1.5 trillion of the Social Security Trust Fund to Wall Street so they can do what they do, invested in Wall Street or real estate or whatever the case may be. So make sure you check out that video. And it's interesting that the same people that Senator Cassidy hasn't said this, but I almost guarantee you people that are going to jump on board with giving $1.5 trillion to their buddies on Wall Street. If you look at their record, these are probably the same people that said, hey, the trust fund is all just useless IOUs. It was stolen years ago. It was given to Ukraine or Afghanistan or Brazil or Panama or wherever, whatever internet myth of the day is that the trust fund is not actually there. It's all gone. It's all empty. It's all useless. Until they want to give it to their buddies on Wall Street, then miraculously all the money just appears out of nowhere. Where does all those money come from that you kept saying for decades that is all fake money? So they've been saying the Social Security Trust Fund is fake money since 1936. Yes, since 1936. You can look it up. A little historical tidbit there. All right. So what about filing early? I can't give you really that advice. I have been, helping people file for retirement and disability and survivor benefits for decades and decades. And when they asked me and said, "Well, should I start now or should I start later?" And the answer was always, it really depends on your particular situation. Are you healthy? Do you have longevity in your family? Do you need the money? That's the number one thing. Are you currently working? Is it going to put you in a higher tax bracket? All those type of questions. And I've always said for the last couple of decades, I've always said, the politicians, we'll make the politicians fix this before the cuts start. And so you should be good. But now we're at crunch time and it looks as though we've just waited way, way, way too long. We still have a chance over the next year or two to get these things done before the cuts inevitably start. But um, I'm not looking. I'm not too optimistic now. I'm not too optimistic now. So I'm telling people, it says, you have to make your own political decision on whether you think the cuts are going to happen, how much the cuts are going to be, and if you think there are going to be cuts in 2031 or 2034, it just might be a good idea to get while the getting's good and start your benefits and at least put something in the bank. But nobody knows. If anybody tells you they're 100% going to be cuts, then they're just blowing smoke. As of right now, if nothing is done, then yes, 100% there are going to be cuts. If nothing is done, if politicians don't get up, but they're kicking the can down the road in order to create a crisis so they can say, well, we've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas. So I guess we'll just give all the money to Wall Street. So one of the things that I'm going to do a separate video on this as well. It definitely deserves a longer video. Is Medicaid and SSI. SSI is the Supplemental Security Income. That's the welfare-based program that Social Security administers. That's for low-income, low-resource individuals. Either they're disabled or they're aged, 65 or older. And Medicaid is obviously the state health insurance program for the same, low income, low resources. So those are two welfare-based programs, and obviously food stamps and all the rest of it. And they were targets of the last President Trump administration. Social Security disability insurance as well. So they were. He was talking about making it more difficult to get disability, and Medicaid and SSI, making it more difficult to keep your disability and SSI. If those people are on disability and SSI, know you have to do the CDRs and the RZs, the redeterminations, and the continuing disability reviews every 1, 2, 3, 5 years, or whatever the case may be. And he was talking about in his presidential budget that they were going to become more stringent on those CDRs and those, to see if you are actually, should continue. And the regulations and criteria for receiving those benefits and continuing those benefits just might be more severe going forward, because he's said that I'm not going to cut $1 from your benefits and I'm not going to raise the retirement age. But nothing was said about, well, those aren't your benefits because you're not entitled to them because you're no longer disabled because we think you can go back to work. So that's an entirely different thing. Politicians are politicians. Some people think he's not a politician, but anyway. Um, and then there's Medicare Advantage for all. That's definitely one thing we're going to be having to watch this next time around, because Dr. Oz, if you've ever watched his daytime TV show, he has always been a big fan of Medicare Advantage, and people that watch my channel. I'm a big fan of Medicare supplement plans. Keep your original Medicare Part A, Part B, get a Medicare supplement plan N or a G. If you can't get that, or you can't afford that, or if it's not for you, then check out a Medicare Advantage plan. But Dr. Oz he has professed his love for Medicare Advantage for all, to make Medicare Advantage kind of the default option when you sign up for Medicare Part A or B. So we shall see what's going on with that. I'm going to keep an eye on everything, all of this stuff, because this is my life now in my semi-retirement, is to watch all this stuff and keep these people relatively honest. And if I see anything pop up, I'm going to make a video on it and bring it to y'all's attention. Sometimes the titles of my videos, you have to play YouTube. The titles are perhaps a little bit shocking. I just did one today. People said, "Oh, it's kind of you're going a little bit too far, Ed." It's about Biden decreasing benefits, the access to benefits. I didn't invent political discourse in America. I'm just, anytime something happens during a president's administration, whether that person was, personally responsible or not, it's always, it happened during that particular administration. Social Security is now going to a reservation-only system, and that's the first time it's ever been like that since 1935. And when did it happen? It happened under the Biden administration. And I'm not blaming Biden. I am blaming Biden, but I'm also blaming Trump. He was president for 4 years. I'm blaming Clinton and Obama and Bush and all the Congress people and senators for the last 20 or 30 years. It's their fault they didn't fix this when they should have. So there's plenty of blame to go around. But I'll do a longer video on that as well. Another thing that President-elect Trump was talking about recently was Medicare Part D. There was this annual enrollment period for Medicare Advantage and the Part D plans for 2025 was probably the most chaotic in decades, because there's been a lot of changes to the prescription drug plan. And President-elect Trump just talked yesterday that he met with Pfizer and different large pharmaceutical companies, and they're talking about the PBM, the benefit managers that control the pharmacies and the costs and everything. It's kind of the middleman. So he's talking about getting rid of the middleman. So there's going to be some interesting stuff with your drug pricing over the next year or so, possibly. But again, I'm going to watch exactly and whether any of this comes to fruition. And if it does, and if there's anything that you need to watch out for, I will make a video of it and we'll have a discussion. And speaking of a discussion, let's get into this today. I think I went through everything. And so let's go ahead and start the questions. Let's see. So I'm not reading any of these. These are not screen questions. I just basically push the button and whatever comes up, comes up. Thank you for all you do. We need this. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Some people said, thank you. Congratulations, Ed, on the 300,000 subscribers. Well, thank you all. It's all y'all. Every time somebody talks to us, oh, I share this with my friends and family and coworkers, this channel, and so they can get some other benefits. And another criticism, a comment I saw on today's video about Biden restricting access to Social Security. People say, well, just file online. No, yes, you can file online, but what are you filing for? That's the issue. If you're just filing for retirement benefits on your own record and that's all you are eligible for and that's all you need, and if everything goes right, then you're golden. Beautiful. Awesome. The problem is, what if you should have filed for disability before you filed for retirement benefits? What if you should have filed for disabled widows benefits before you filed for retirement? What if you should have filed for survivor benefits instead of retirement? What if you should have filed for independently entitled divorce spouse benefits with your retirement? What if you should have also filed for SSI because you're going to make less on disability and retirement? So it goes on and on and on and on. So it's easy. Just file for it. You go online and file for it. No, it's unfortunately, I wish if it was easy, y'all would have never heard my name and you've never seen me. And you're probably happy. Anyway. Yes, press the like button. Let's see. Hi, Ed. New to the channel. Medicare is in my husband's immediate future. Many questions. Help. Yeah. If you're 65 years old, approaching 65 years old, it's automatic if you're currently receiving Social Security benefits. If you're currently receiving the money benefits, then about 100 days before you turn 65, Medicare will send you Part A and Part B automatically, the card. But if you're working, or your spouse is working and you have health insurance from current work, your employer has 20 or more employees and you're happy with it, they're not making you sign up for part, A or B or anything like that, then you don't have to sign up for it. If you're not receiving benefits, then you have to manually sign up for it. You have to file an application. You do not have to file for money at the same time. You can just file for Part A. If you receive money, you have to get Part A once you turn 65. You can't deny that. There is an exception. If you have to pay the monthly premium for a Part A, you can't decline it. But you can sign up for Part A alone and not B, and not money. Or you can sign up for Part A and Part B, but not the monthly benefit. Or you can sign up, for Part A and the monthly benefit and not B. So there's a lot of different variables. So when people say, "Oh, yeah, the customer service is terrible. Who cares? It's just file online." Well, again, what do we talk about? So yeah, if you need help, I partner up because I help with Social Security, retirement, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, Medicare Part A and B, but I can't help you with Part C, which is the Medicare Advantage. I can't help with Medicare supplements. I can't help you with Part D. I can kind of give you, kind of what they are and stuff, but actually define particular plans in your area, I can't do that to everybody, help everybody in the country. That's why I've partnered up with Chapter, give them a call. I think they're kind of taking a breather a little bit after the crazy season, but there are people that are able to help you out today. If you're watching this after January 1st, they're at full staff. All right. Thank you for your service and your support. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm 74 years old. I spent most of the past 2 years living in the Philippines. I plan to return in January and marry a Filipino with 4 kids, 18, 16, 14, and 9. All right. So yeah, this is a common thing nowadays. A lot of people moving overseas because they're getting a very, very small check. The average Social Security check is what, $1,900 or something. So people said, yeah, you just that's rent. Once you pay rent, pretty much nothing's left. So a lot of people are just becoming expats and moving overseas where they can live, fairly well on $1,900. But yeah, if you move overseas and you marry someone, There are separate what's called totalization agreements with different countries throughout the world. The Social Security Administration is in the United States government negotiated with various countries, and they have these agreements that hey, we'll kind of recognize your Social Security system if you recognize our Social Security system, and they're all different. So if you go to the Philippines or Panama or Portugal or Spain or wherever the case may be, and you want to collect Social Security benefits or marry someone local or have a situation, then you might have to check the totalization agreement. You reach out to the embassy. There's called a federal benefits unit somewhere, probably in the region. In the Philippines, it is in Manila. That handles all of Japan and Korea and Australia. But anyway, they can direct you on the particular details of that particular country. I've heard I may not have to pay $185 for Part B because of my income. Um, um, because of your income, if that could go two ways. Because of your income, you don't have to pay it because you are going to apply for Medicaid from your state and your Department of Social Services or Department of Welfare, wherever in your state. And if they approve you hopefully for what's called the Medicare Savings Program, where they pay for your Part B. You're paying for it, but somebody's paying for it for you. So please, everybody, press like and subscribe and share and all that kind of stuff. Because if you don't need help paying your $185, when you press like, this might go to videos go to someone that actually needs this information. So Medicare Savings Program. If you know anybody that's having a hard time paying that $185, tell them to reach out to Medicaid, apply for Medicaid, and if they're approved, the state just might pay the $185. Okay. All right. Uh, the other side of that question might be you don't have to pay 185, you have to pay more. Are you talking about the other side of that question? That's IRMA, income related monthly adjustment amount. That's for people that are high income earners. And based on their high income from 2 years previous, they might have to pay $100 more, $200, $300, $400 more for their Part B Medicare. So one of those might be it. What is the legal retirement age? I missed it. The retirement age for Social Security in terms of receiving Social Security benefits, if we're talking about retirement benefits, retirement spouse, is 62 years old. If we're talking about survivor benefits, then you can start survivor benefits at 60 years old. Disability, completely different dates. I think I can apply for this is a follow-up for the previous. I think I can apply for dependent benefits for the children after 1 year. Question: can I apply online or at the U.S. Embassy in Manila? You can do it at the U.S. Embassy in Manila. I always recommend, if you're going to be moving overseas, take care of everything before you go with the Social Security Administration, because the federal benefits units are inundated, and what happens is they take the application and they ship it to Baltimore, the Office of International Operations, and it takes 5 times longer to do anything over any country outside the United States. So I highly recommend, I highly recommend you do it before you leave. Trump never Mr. X or lies. Sarcasm. Okay, let me put my sarcasm alert up there. I'm starting playing around with these graphics here and stuff. If you watch my videos from I've only been doing this for about 1.5 years, these videos, and if you watch them from a year, well, please don't watch my videos from a year ago. They're embarrassing. But anyway, 67. Yes, old retired joys have to file income tax. Okay. Let's see, Bruce. I'm planning to retire in November 2025 for retirement age. My fear is that Trump lied, as he does a lot, and I'm going to be forced to work another 3 years. In terms of, so you're full retirement age, 67 years old. If you watch the politicians, the people that want to destroy Social Security, that want to privatize it, again, we've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas, part of the political parties. And people always say, Ed, just say it's the Republicans or Democrats. I try to avoid politics as much as possible. I am an equal opportunity hater in the sense of I blame all these politicians. There's one political party that, has made no secret that they've never wanted Social Security since 1935. Okay, fine. At least they're honest about it. But the other political party that said they support it, why haven't they? Incompetence, or they're just mouthing the words. Either one of those is not necessarily good. So yeah, I think we have to. They're not going to do anything until we tell them to do it, and we make them do it. So there's that. But I don't think he's going to raise the retirement age. Again, those are the video I did that was Bill Cassidy. He said, "Well, we've tried nothing, and I guess the only option we have is, we're going to borrow a whole bunch of money from the regular, the regular revenue, and we're already $36 trillion in debt on regular, the regular, the regular amount, that we're just gonna have to borrow more, and that's gonna make everything worse." And but it's like, come on, you read the Social Security actuary's report. I have it in the description, and there's dozens and dozens and dozens of ideas that will get us to a good future. But they're just a straw man. They're building a straw man, and it's like, okay, this is the only thing, the only alternative, and y'all hate that, right? The only alternative is raise the retirement age. Nobody wants that, so I guess we have to give it to our buddies at Wall Street. The only alternative is cut benefits for everybody 33%. No, there's a whole bunch of other alternatives. So we need to, stop them playing these straw man arguments. Oh, I put up the wrong graphic. All right. This is a one-man show, so I have to apologize. Just basically me and my son. So, can divorce spousal benefits and deceased mother survivor benefits be combined for a disabled person? Um, Wow. Yeah, there's things called dual eligibility, and you usually get the higher benefits. So anytime you get like two or three benefits, which is possible, you can just like normal. If you get like spouse, if you get benefits on your own record, but you're also entitled to spouse benefits from your current spouse or divorced spouse, you're essentially you're dual eligible. And you're getting these two different benefits. So you're getting part from your own benefit, and then you're getting the difference between the two and the higher benefit. So the exact same thing there. If you're eligible for two benefits, they essentially, they don't give you, two pots of money, and, separately. They put those pots of money together, and one offsets the other. So yes, technically, but what goes into your bank account is the higher amount. So I am 67 in May. I started my widow's pension at 50. They automatically switched over from my SSI. Now I don't get full benefits pension. Okay. You're 67, so you started your widow's pension at 50. So that means you received it. You received disabled widow's benefits, DWIB. You're eligible. People are eligible for disabled widow's benefits. If they're married to the person, and they were disabled between the age of 50 and 59, you can get benefits, and that is 71.5% of that person's full benefit amount. So you started receiving your pension for a long time, and now you're 67. And so what they do is when you turn 67, your full retirement age, this is what they do to everybody in the country. They switch you from disability benefits to just regular retirement benefits. So now you don't get your full benefits. I'm not sure about that, because usually when you switch from disability benefits to regular retirement benefits at your full retirement age, the check stays the same. They just stop taking your money out of the disability trust fund and start taking it out of the retirement trust fund. If your benefits decrease for some reason, and SSI is the welfare-based benefit, or if you're receiving SSI, possibly if your benefit amount at 67 is now more than SSI, they stop the welfare benefit because you're making more money elsewhere. But in your particular case, yeah, that doesn't sound right. So I would reach out to them, and when you get your award letter that tells you how much your benefit is going to be, if you disagree with it, then it says on the bottom of the letter, it says, hey, if you disagree with it, you can appeal. And the appeal form is the SSA 561 request for reconsideration. Super, super easy to fill out. And you just fill it out, return it, make sure you make a copy of it, and return it. And they will give you an accounting of exactly how they determined your benefit amount. And hopefully, if it's wrong, they will catch it in the process. What is the easiest way to get into Social Security for advice? Yeah, nowadays again, this is a concerted effort by politicians on all sides, I would argue, to diminish access to Social Security. So it makes it difficult for you to get your benefits, and you get completely confused, frustrated. You just give up trying to get anything done with Social Security, and the politicians win because that's their intention. Their intention is to choke Social Security and then drown it in the bathtub. And in the by doing that, you just said, forget about Social Security is doing a terrible job. They never pick up the phone. They're giving out the wrong answers and stuff like that. And that's what the politicians want. Is they want to make it the worst. It's like if you're a Starbucks and if you only put one person back there making coffee, then guess what? Yeah, there's not going to be you're not going to get your coffee. So that's the politicians' game, and but we're smarter than them. We know that they are trying to kill Social Security, by 1,000 cuts. So let's see here, jumping around a little bit. Oh, welcome, Dr. Weir also has made over 600 videos packed with information. Yeah, I think I'm at like 900. I'm about to hit my 1,000th interview or 1,000th, video. Go figure. Time flies. I got my Social Security at 62 along with my DAC son. So a DAC son is a disabled adult child. Disabled adult child was someone that was disabled before the age of 22 that is now receiving benefits on one of their parents' record because the parent is receiving retirement benefits, disability benefits, or the parent is deceased. So again, watch this channel for those little nuggets so you can, oh, I know a guy down the street who has a son that became disabled before the age of 22. Does he know he can get disabled adult child benefit? Please, let's go out there and share. When wife started Social Security this year on my record, also, both her and my DAC son benefits were reduced, well below half of full retirement age. Could we have hit family max? Yes, 100%. That's the family max. There is a calculation that only a certain amount of money can be paid out on a person's record. So if it's like $5,000 and you're getting $2,000, that means there's $3,000 left over, and then it's divided by however many people are receiving benefits. So if you have the son receiving benefits, they're entitled to 50%. If you have your wife, your spouse, receiving the auxiliary child and care benefits, excuse me, auxiliary child and care benefits, then they're receiving 50%, up to 50%. But because it sounds like you hit the family max, then it's reduced. But you're getting, the max benefits. So, all right, Take and Took. Let's see. I wish Take and Took is a regular here. Always awesome. Always helping people out. I wish more voters would realize that many of the things that happened during one administration are a result of changes made by the prior administration, and not all of them are modifiable once started. Yes, the government's like an oil tanker. You turn the wheel, and 50 years or 50 miles down the ocean, it finally starts turning, type of situation. So yeah, the deterioration of customer service, now we're at a 50-year low, and you don't get to be a 50-year low of staffing at Social Security in 1 or 2 or 3 years. This takes years of design to kill the beast, if you think it is a beast, which I Social Security, when you pay your FICA taxes, all of those decades, that money was going to the trust fund for you to, access when you get older, or if you become disabled, or spouse benefits, or surviving spouse benefits. But part of that was also to pay for someone to help you in the future to get the benefits, to make sure you're not making a mistake, to make sure you get the right check at the right time. But unfortunately, Congress and everybody else decided not to give that money that you told them to give to Social Security so they could help you. They're not giving it to that Social Security. So that's why I'm here doing this thing. And but anyway, what will happen when the current undocumented workers leave? As an HR director, I know many have been paying into Social Security, and that money will now be gone. Exactly. Yeah. So it's estimated that people that are here paying into these systems, I've seen it's up to where $90 billion a year. In terms of Social Security alone, I've seen numbers anywhere from 30 to 37 billion every year being paid by people that shouldn't be working in the United States, but it's being paid to Social Security and they will never get that money back because in order to get Social Security, retirement benefits, disability benefits, you have to prove your legal status in the United States. And people say, well, there's a lot of people receiving Social Security that are not here legally. No, they're not here legally. No, you can't do that. When you go into Social Security, you file for retirement or benefits or disability benefits in MCS. If anybody ever worked at Social Security, you have to get through these particular screens, just like a little red dot when you're filling out a little form. It says, "Hey, you have to fill out your date of birth. If you don't, can't press submit." Same thing with Social Security, only on steroids. If the person is not a U.S. citizen, then you have to put the green card, the A number in there. You have to check it through the SAVE system, through the INS to make sure it's valid. And until you do that, you can't move into the next screen and adjudicate the claim. So the whole thing about the money's being given to, you have to prove your status in the United States. And some people say, well, there's people coming from Ukraine and immigrant. Well, those people were allowed in the United States by Congress, congressional laws, and therefore they got a green card based. You might disagree with why they're here with a H-1 visa or whatever the case may be. You might disagree with their legal status, but if they have legal status that Congress allowed them to be here, then that's legal status. But we're talking about people that have, zero legal status. They can't get in unless they have proof. So we need a third party that would be for the people and not for the corporations. Yeah, ASAP. That way the cap will be removed and save Social Security. Yes. Everybody that's watched my channel for any, I think I mention this on a regular basis, the FICA cap needs to be increased. But the problem is the people that the golden rule, the people that rule have the gold, and they don't want to pay more FICA tax, like they don't want to pay equal to what we've been paying for the last several decades. Rose, I love that you partner with Chapter for everything Medicare. I wish you could partner with someone who can help with everything IRS. Thank you for your help and information. I've learned so much. Rose, thank you. Thank you. Number one, thank you for Chapter has done a phenomenal job so far. They had some hiccups because of the Medicare season. There was just millions of people that needed help this time of year, and every every agency and every Medicare insurance agent in the country was just inundated. It was just, it was a terrible year because there were so many people that needed help. But they're doing a final job now that nightmare season is over. I have been looking for someone to help with IRS type stuff. So IRS people out there, if you want to come on and help answer questions during my live Q&A, please email me. Email me at ed@mygovexpert.com. If you have, I need someone that, doesn't work just in, Texas or Alabama. I need someone that can help people nationwide with all things. And I'm also reaching out to places that help with the VA. I'm an old Marine Corps sergeant, but I've never really used VA type stuff too much, except for, student loans and or student, well, the, the old VEAP, Veterans Educational Assistance Program. But anyway, I'm looking for someone that has a lot of experience in the VA to come in every now and then and helping with VA type stuff. So yes, I'm trying to add as much resources as we possibly can. All right. Can my adult special needs daughter, diagnosis at 7, get benefits from her father's Social Security now that he is getting FRB? FRB? Federal retirement benefits? Are we talking Social Security? Or are we talking like PERS or something like that? If so, what are those benefits called? If you, okay, I can only speak to Social Security if maybe that's what you're talking about. But in terms of Social Security, yes, if the child's father is receiving Social Security benefits, retirement benefits, or disability benefits, then a child under the age of 18 can get benefits on that person's record. They'll get 50%, up to 50% of that person's full benefit amount. If they became disabled before the age of 22, then they can get it essentially forever. Yes, if that's what we're talking about, if we're talking the father is receiving Social Security benefits, then that question should have been asked when he filed for benefits. And again, that's another issue with, well, why don't you just file online? Well, okay, fine, if there's no issues. But if this father filed online and nothing, and the child benefits were not addressed, then that person lost money, and people are losing money all the time because of the customer service. Yeah. So All right. Let's see here. Oh, sure. That's what we need. More profit so CEOs can take millions of dollars out of it in yearly bonuses. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Are future disability benefits affected the same as Social Security? Yes. I'm going to keep an eye on this, but probably more so. As I mentioned, that in the previous Trump administration, that's what one of his targets was: SSDI, SSI, Medicaid. So, he said he's not going to cut benefits for anybody currently receiving it, and he's not going to raise the retirement age. But that doesn't mean, that means, hey, you're receiving disability, you're entitled to disability, we're going to cut your benefits. So, according to what he said, that's not going to happen. But they can make the regulations more stringent and say, hey, we think you can go back to work now, or we're not going to give you benefits, and we're going to add work requirements. That's what was attempted last time, but that was stopped. But I'm going to keep an eye on this. Louisiana governor must have gotten a huge chunk from Wall Street. Yeah, if you watch the video, I just did a cut up video of it. I've got the actual video of Senator Bill Cassidy, and he's talking to a room of money guys. He says, "Yeah, y'all know money more than I do, um, but 1.5 trillion dollars, we'll give it to Wall Street and yada yada yada." So I'm completely against that. Oh, I didn't think he was saying that all illegals are in the category at all. Oh, okay. Was something? Yeah, yeah. There's, again, there's people always say, well, I've got someone down the street that's here from wherever, and they're getting benefits. Not retirement to disability. That might be getting something, food stamps from your particular state, or TANF, or whatever, some type of assistance or something like that. But I'm just talking about Social Security, retirement, and disability benefit. You cannot get those two things unless you prove your U.S. Status. Dr. Ed, I get my money every month on the third. Will that change? In terms of the pay date, no. If you're what's called grandfathered in, they changed the pay dates several years ago to make it a little bit more manageable. In the old days, everybody everybody got paid on the first few days of the month, and that was terrible. Strategy, because if you didn't get your check, then everybody came down to the local Social Security office on the second or third or something like that. So that was a dumb idea, and now they stagger it. So if you were born the first 10 days of the month, you get it on the second Wednesday, second 10 days of the month, you get it on the third Wednesday, and so forth. But people that have been getting it for, before that new system started are kind of kept with the old system. So no cuts, Mr. President Trump will fix the issue. I certainly hope so. Again, I'm an old Marine Corps sergeant, so if the president to support the president, but again, it's um, to just say I'm not going to raise the retirement age, I'm not going to do any cuts. Okay, that's half the way there. What are you going to do to prevent the cuts that are going to happen, not during your next administration, but whoever follows you? That's the issue. You don't have to put on the automatic cuts. The next president essentially starts having to do the automatic cuts, and that person is going to get blamed for it. So whoever it is. So we have a time. I mean, again, we've had 20 years, and we just haven't done anything, and now we're down, yeah, to the wall. Kathy says, if my husband's the higher earner and began SSDI at 60, when can I collect that? It won't hurt me. I'll be 62 soon, and I also work and will continue, but my earnings are under the allowed amount. Okay, so you work, and for next year, you're under the $23,400. Um, when can you collect it and it won't hurt me? So you're possibly talking about that you won't get a cut. Well, you won't get a reduction in your benefits when you hit 67 years old, your full retirement age. I assume your full retirement age is 67. Um, so yeah, 67, you'll get exactly 50% of his benefit amount. You have to file for benefits on yours first, though. Remember that. Um, let me see. Oh, time will tell if there's cuts. He has stated it will automatically for everyone across the board. Yes. Let's see here. Did Joe sign the Social Security Fairness Act yet? Not. I checked today, and it doesn't look like he signed it yet. So Here, and I thought Democrats were trying to protect SSI, et cetera. Democrats have been stealing from Social Security for decades. Again, nobody's been stealing from Social Security. It's the money is still there, the trust fund is still there. It's just the projected how long it would last, and the problem is that cap just needs to be raised. Um, but again, there's people on both sides of the party that are actually wanting to support Social Security, but there's incompetence that kind of goes to all chambers. I am 60 years old that work in construction. I don't think I could wait till 68 for full retirement. Yes, that's the people that you notice the people that want to raise their full retirement age has nice cushy jobs like what I'm I guess what I'm doing here. I had a nice cushy job, at Social Security. Not so much in the Marine Corps, but yeah, my dad was a long distance truck driver. Can't do that 68, 70. That's very very difficult. Um, and the people that with cushy jobs and they don't need the money, so they're like, yeah, 70 years old, I don't care, I don't want that money anyway. It's nickels to how much I'm getting from my buddies on Wall Street. So they can raise the retirement age, it doesn't affect them. But for those people out there actually working, especially manual labor, that's you just can't do that. Yeah. How should I apply for spousal benefits? People say, well, and we got cut off there. For spousal benefits, if you're filing for living spouse benefits, that means that person is still out there somewhere, or you're currently married. Then remember you have to file for benefits on your own record, and then you file for benefits on that person's record. So you can do any of those online, or call up and schedule an appointment. And your appointment, probably won't be for 2 months or something like that. All right, let's see here. Can you please go back over monthly payments? I'm on SSDI, have been for 30 years. I get paid on the third. My total retirement is 67 and a half years. Will my pay date change then? No, it will not. If your pay date is it, it it'll stay what it is. Yeah, it'll stay where it is. About up to about 10 years ago, people could actually request to get a different pay date. Like if you got paid on the fourth Wednesday, but you have your rent due on the first or something like that, we could request and get the Department of Treasury to change your pay date. But pretty much they don't allow that anymore. So I wish, yeah, some people need their money on a particular day of the week or the month, earlier in the month or later in the month or something like that. But unfortunately, it's almost impossible. I've told people to try it, and they've all came back and said, yeah, they're not budging it at all. So, all right, let's see here. Can we apply for Social Security on the website? Yes, for Social Security retirement, spouse benefits. Um, you cannot file for surviving spouse benefits on their website yet. You can apply for disability benefits. Yes. All right, let's see. Recent AARP article stated that you should know what you're calling about before calling Social Security. Exactly. And they say that they represent seniors. I could write better articles than AARP. Yeah, again, yeah, that's the issue. But they're right. You have to know what you don't know, before you call Social Security, because even I tell people about independently entitled divorce spouse benefits, for instance, that your ex spouse doesn't have to be receiving benefits yet as long as that person is 62. And I said, hey, you don't have to wait for that person to file for benefits. You can file now. And they go down to Social Security, and the Social Security says, no, you have to, your ex has to be receiving benefits. And no, no. So even, yeah, unfortunately, because Social Security is so understaffed, there's kind of two things that happen there. They're so understaffed is if they do get a hire, an odd hire every now and then, they have so many people to take care of. They tell that person, hey, go to the window and help that person. And sure, we haven't trained you fully. It takes a good 2 years to train a Social Security employee fully, but they send them to the window and help people out, when they really shouldn't. They should be back there training. And another issue is you get bad employees, and they're, maybe they're good 70% of the time, but that other 30%, they're not. Um, the district manager, the management has to take that into consideration. It's like, okay, well, yeah, this person kind of sucks 30% of the time, but they do produce work, they do adjudicate claims, they do help out 70% of the people. And if If I fire this person, I would like to fire this person, but if I fire this person, I can't replace them because we don't have an allocation to hire another person. So it's either get 0% done or 70. So that's unfortunately the decisions a lot of offices, yeah, have to make. Man, is this guy a liberal Democrat? I love, yeah, I love people when they try to guess. So again, my political leanings are to keep Social Security, make sure y'all get your benefits, and make sure Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid are here for as long as we need them. Social Security made a mistake on my survivor benefits, owing me $50, but they went back up and pay me. They went back up and they paid you. So okay. I'm currently on SSDI. I will reach full Social Security retirement age in 2026. Will these changes make any difference to my automatic transfer from SSDI? No, they shouldn't. Again, all bets are off. But yeah, when you hit your full retirement age, your benefits stop being disability. Your benefit stays the same. Your pay date stays the same. It just you no longer have limitations and disability work limitations. You no longer have those CDRs, the continuing disability reviews. You're free, so you can do whatever you want. Social Security doesn't care anymore. So um, an ad just played about a supplement to Social Security's burial plan. Does Social Security have such a thing? No. Yeah, I can't control the YouTube and their what kind of ads they run. But all right, it's I don't want to suspect. Social Security does not have anything like that, and a lot of these ads talk about there's a state program. And what it is burial insurance, final expense. And people, some people need that extra money. If you don't have extra money for your burial, then I would recommend, it's not for you, it's for those people you leave behind so they could, bury you. I always tell my wife to buy a new refrigerator and it'll come in a big box. But anyway, but yeah, you just might need that. But the way it's kind of like the Medicare Advantage grocery cards. The both of those are advertised really, really scammy because they say it's a state sponsored, government sponsored program. All insurance is regulated by the state. Your car insurance, your life insurance, your mortgage insurance, burial insurance, Medicare insurance, it's all regulated by the states. So when they say it's a government or a state program or something, it just means that's kind of the funny language they use. These are private companies, and yes, private insurance companies are regulated by states, just like every company in your in your state. It's regulated by the state in some respect or not. So yeah, just watch out for that. But if you need, if you want to leave, 10, 15, $20,000 of burial insurance for, your loved ones after you pass, then then, check it out. Um, let's see. Could you be any more partisan? Geez. Okay, I'll try. um, does he read only super chats? Nope, but I've got probably 3 or 400 questions here, so, yeah, and I've got 7 more minutes. I'm a retired school teacher. I don't think I read any super chats today, did I? Is that what you call the people that donate money and stuff? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I guess that's what that is. Um, I'm a retired school teacher, get $2,800 a month through CalSTRS. I was married for 20 years, divorced, remarried at 60 and 11 months. Can I get divorce, spouse, Social Security from my first husband? Um, so if you're currently remarried, um, and well, now you've got that CalSTRS thing in on there, get said 20 through CalSTRS. So I'm going to defer this question. In terms of benefits, you can get surviving spouse benefits if you remarry after 60. So if the first person you were married to is deceased, then yes, possibly. But then there's that CalSTRS thing, and that there's that GPO, the government pension offset, where that offsets 20, 2/3 of what you would get. But that really depends on whether the president signs that. So we'll see what happens there. As we know, there is one party that has never done anything to help Social Security. No party that is not guilty of this, but we know who. Yeah. The reason I kind of, avoid, picking on the Republicans or Democrats or liberal or conservatives and stuff. It's just, it's just like when you go to an emergency room and the doctor that doesn't say, well, it looks like your leg is broken, but are you a Republican or Democrat? Liberal or conservative? Yeah, they don't ask it. So I'm here to help you all get the benefits you're entitled to, you earned, you paid into, and the whole thing, that's another political ploy by politicians to divide us. And so we sit there and say, oh, you're a Democrat and you're partisan, you're this and you're that and stuff. And while we're playing music, was it shining the brass on the Titanic? So people, you're falling for their tricks. Don't fall for their misdirection. Like this guy is a Biden hater. So rather than going out there and helping people and being constructive, you're just you're playing into their wrestling match. So well, come on, we're smarter in this. Okay, all right. Let's see. Can I spend any of dependent children's auxiliary benefit 25-month back pay check to pay off family debt, incurring paying household bills the prior 25 months? Um, yeah, people ask me about this all the time. If you're receiving, you're the representative payee for your child, your natural child, adopted child, and people says, oh, it's supposed to go through for their welfare, for their, because you receive that representative payee report once a year, and it said, hey, we gave you, $12,000 last year for this child. What did you use it for? And I put a roof over their head and put food in their mouth and bought them a Nintendo. But yeah, if it's for their welfare, and I assume that that house that you're paying off, or debt or whatever the case may be, it's not gambling. I guess even gambling debt, but yeah, that probably wouldn't be nice. But yeah, if it's providing food, shelter, and all that kind of stuff, then it shouldn't be an issue. It really depends on your particular situation. If it's an SSI, supplemental security income, there's a little bit more stringent things. But if this child, if you're just because you're receiving retirement benefits or disability benefits, and the child is your natural child, adopted child, then yeah, it's Social Security really doesn't care. Forgive me if this has been asked before. If I have an HSA, can I pay for Part B using my HSA account? Um, yeah, that's more of a IRS type of thing. But you can't pay for it directly. But I've heard some people, because you can't say, hey, because if you're receiving Part B, they're taking that out of your monthly benefit amount, so you can't tell them to take it out of whatever HSA. So after you pull that money out of your HSA, if you want to reimburse yourself for what you paid out of Part B, that's so. But I would reach out to again, that's an IRS issue too. It unfair the teachers, cops, firefighters, etc. never paid into Social Security. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the Social Security Fairness Act that going. Are you saying those working technically have their paid Social Security cut, or will those of us already collecting Social Security have our benefits cut? Good question. By law, as of right now, but laws can always change. But as of right now, Social Security can only pay out how much it has in the bank and how much it has coming in. And it has about $1 trillion coming in and FICA every year. And then it pays like 1.2 trillion going out. So, the trillion is covered. The other 200 billion or 70 billion last year was short. And so where's that come from? They're coming out of the Social Security Trust Fund, the savings account, essentially, that we've built up. But once that trust fund is done and there's nothing to cover the gap, then Social Security has to cut benefits for everybody across the board. There is no grandfathered in. Well, I'm already receiving benefits, so mine won't get cut. But you new people, it sucks to be you. No, it's as of right now, Social Security can only write checks based on how much they have to write those checks. So it's cuts for everybody across the board. So let's see. Let me find some people that I've never seen here before. If things are going to get better for all of us, it will be within the next 2 years. Hopefully, things will get better. I certainly hope so. I've been surprised before. So, and I've got a couple of petitions down there as well. I've got them in the description and then a chat. One of them is to support Social Security, and the other one, I don't think we should privatize Social Security. I think the solution is to raise the FICA cap, so everybody pays, percentage of their Social Security, of their income, and then Social Security, like the rest of us. Pretty much everybody here pays FICA tax on every dollar they earn. But if you make a whole bunch of money, then not so much. Ed, question for you. I retired 3 years ago at 62. If I become disabled, would I be able to collect disability, or would I just keep receiving my Social Security? So you are 35 years old. So yes, you can 100% file for Social Security disability. Nobody receives disability after their full retirement age, but you're not at your full retirement age yet. So you can file for disability. It won't get you Medicare any quicker because you're already, 65. But if you're approved for disability, it might just increase your benefit amount a little bit. So I would definitely try it. Hey, if you're disabled, and remember, Social Security defines disability as the inability to work. So if you're unable to work because of your disability, then I would 100% file. Absolutely. I'm 67. I'm thinking about starting collecting at 68, but go part time. Any thoughts? Then, you know, uh, your part time job, as long as you stay under $1 billion a month, actually, you can earn as much as you want because you're 60, you're after your full retirement age. So you can make $1 billion a day if you want. It doesn't affect your Social Security benefits negatively. And actually, you'll always pay FICA on W 2 wages and self on net income from business. And if you continue to pay into FICA, you continue to work. And if that's one of your high 35 years, then that will automatically increase your monthly benefit amount, even if you're already receiving benefits. So every year when you file your taxes with your buddies at the IRS notifies Social Security that, hey, this person made $100,000 last year. And Social Security looks at it and says, is $100,000 one of the high 35 years? Yeah, it's one of the high 35 years for this person. They kick out the low one, put in the new one, recalculate, and your benefits go up. So 100% automatic. You don't have to do anything except for file your taxes. Don Ricky, oh, thank you very much for the, I guess the super chat. Okay, that is what it's called, super chat. Anyway, so yeah, assessed a $5,000 penalty against my sister at age 65 for work, vacation, and sick pay she received during her work career. Fixed with your advice. Okay, so this is a mistake that happens sometimes. On something like that, if she just filed for benefits, if anybody just filed for benefits and they say, "Hey, I'm going to go under, the monthly earnings limit," or they file for benefits starting January, February, and they get a leftover check from the previous year for previous work, then and if that gets you an overpayment, you just have to go down to Social Security and say, "Yeah, I got this extra $2 or $3,000, but it was, something that I had worked and they owed me or something from a previous year." And then Social Security will, fix the system, delete the overpayment, and you're good. The computer system just isn't able to pick out. They just know when you got paid. They don't know when it was essentially for. So yeah, you can get that fixed. All right. It is over an hour and I am out of time. And yes, there's hundreds of other questions. I'm not, maliciously picking one or the other. I just go through and unfortunately I miss a lot of them because we just don't have enough time. But I will be back again tomorrow and I'll have a topic of the day, about 5 or 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll help with many as y'all as I possibly can. And